Hi, everyone. So today we are going to talk about chapter 14, which is Act Accordingly. And I love this chapter because it confirms, look, if you know better, why aren't you doing better? I have my reasons for it. We'll talk about it another day. But they're mentioning here that absolutely nothing is of any use if you do not take action. And they're really telling you, you know what, you need to encourage yourself because, as Woody Allen once mentioned, it takes me more than 10 years. It has taken me more than 10 years to change from one day to another, meaning there's certain practices that you have to keep in a mechanical way to apply, but you're putting your whole presence into that mechanical habit, meaning it takes both consistency but full presence into it. And as you're practicing meditation, which is, in another word, you saying that you're ready to see something different, because the only things that are going to get anything changed is having a new attitude towards something that you could anticipate. Why? Because you have introspected on what happened in your day. You're like, you know what? Maybe my attitude could be different. So when you're meditating, it's like you're open for a new attitude change, like a new way that you could kind of like see how you could play your day differently than the way you have, and you're not going to let the same pattern that hasn't worked for you keep playing instead of your real thinking. Your real thinking knows better. You see, like when you ask someone, hey, what were you thinking when you did that? Sometimes they're like, I don't know. Exactly my point. Sometimes we don't know because we're just reacting, right? So if you could notice your reactions, then you could actually meditate on that and be open for a new solution. Meditation just means I'm ready to act differently. So people are really afraid of changing anything, and we don't really know where all this change comes from. There are theories, but what we want to talk more about and to mention here is it's more about a sense of maturing than feeling that you've learned something. All right, I know that already, but why isn't it being applied already? It's because it takes a cycle of maturity. And that's what they say, that if you're working on something very solidly, it could take a year, it could take 10 years, but how much do you want this? And how much are you doing different things about it? And the more you're open and flexible of doing different things about it, it'll click one day because you're really trying and you really want this with all your heart. But if you discourage yourself in the process, it's probably not going to happen because you're not being consistent enough with how it's going to grow. Yes, there's been a lot of stories about the bamboo tree, which seems to not grow, but it's actually in its growth process. It's kind of the same thing about this magical change that could happen one day. And people just don't fall out of the sky successful. They put a lot of work into it, and one day something just clicked because they wanted it with all their hearts. So their exact example is meditation is that finger pointing to the moon, indicating that we are ready. What do you think? They're reminding us that you have to know where to start, which is going to be your attitude. Then what you're going to continue with is going to be limited by your beliefs, that you're ready now to adjust. What will comfort you along the way is the state of mind that you're going to cultivate. And the signals that will guide you, as we saw in our previous message, is the values and principles that you have. So yes, you want to be able to visualize how your so-called change of attitudes will play out in your day. So visualization is going to be important. And another thing is that they mentioned, can you visualize in what situation your change of beliefs will be shown? You got to see yourself being able, like in a play, to act differently, and there's more chances of it happening. This is where you're challenging your beliefs, because then you're accepting that if you could visualize it, it is possible for you to do something different naturally. And no longer see fear as something that paralyzes you. Just see fear as something that's just confirming that, you know what, I'm leaving my comfort zone. Are you excited to see a new outcome? So meditation and introspection could also be tools to help you evaluate in a periodic way that there is a progress. If you're not evaluating, how do you know you're moving forward? Then sometimes you feel like you're going nowhere. I like this. They say move forward, make mistakes, fall, and get up again. This is what we call constant improvement. This is what we call Kaizen. Do you know what Kaizen is? It's a method that Toyota uses to have such good reliability. Every day something's going to improve to some degree to be more effective and to be more efficient, to be more reliable. So on a closing note, you could acknowledge stuff such as, what mistakes at the end of the day have I acknowledged today? What have I learned from them? What negative temptations have I overcome? What frustrations have I managed to process without getting mad? And what happiness have I been able to share with others? What do you think about today's message? I really loved it, because if I'm not acting, nothing's happening. If I don't change, nothing will change. Have a wonderful day. Until next time, everyone.